Hello. Next, our second episode of the fourth season is the 30-fathom grave. Now, 30 fathoms is about 54 meters. Fathom is just about the length between the fingertips of your outstretched hands. If you're, I think it's a man of normal build or whatever, so it's about 6 feet. And it's been standardized to be about 1.8 meters. So, it's about the Navy, and the exterior shots are mostly shot on the Manilux, I think it is, and the interiors are mostly on the Edson. We're going to get back to that a bit. So, Chief Bell, he doesn't actually pass out on the deck, or at least he passes out in a very convenient way because he catches himself on the railing as he falls. I think they could have just padded up the deck, made a bit of a more froggy angle and just had him fall. I think that could have looked better. But, oh well. I'm going to have to look up the position that they give. I have no idea where that is, but I'm guessing it's somewhere, I mean, it's at sea, obviously, but the showrunners were military people in here, Rod, if no one else. So I don't think they would have put this in the middle of Texas. In August of 1983, this episode became sort of haunting because on the 11th they decommissioned the Edson, the ship where they shot the original sort of interior shots, and on the 26th, Mike Kellen, who plays the bosun, he died. And 3 years later, Mr. Oakland, Simon Oakland, who plays the captain, he died. So it was one of those, months that speaks of a haunting of this episode or something, if you're thus inclined. The diver McClure, he wrote a book about how to survive the Second World War in Hollywood. But he also wears an Edson jacket, and there's an Edson ship or boat that they lower into to look at the sub. So I think this is supposed to be the Edson, pretty much. The notation 714, of course, would mean nothing unless you know the model of the boat. 714 could be Russian sub, German sub, whatever, right? You wouldn't be able to say just by those numbers alone. It's worth noting that a boat in the 1941 would have started with 21 something, right? The 714 wasn't until 1979 with the... Yeah, it was in 1979. It was the Norfolk or something like that actually had that registration first. It's a bit of a haunting episode overall. I think it benefited from being 50 minutes long rather than the 22, but also it drags in places, and you don't get a reveal as to what happened to Bell. If he had been found in the boat, for instance, that could have been interesting. But now he just disappears. I think the episode could have been more spooky if they'd had something like that. Of course, they're not going to show it because that would mean they had to build a reverse of that set from within the sub, which would have been hugely expensive. And for just one shot, you wouldn't do that. It's like the episode where people fall out of a window. There's like 3 people that fall out of a window, and I remember saying in the commentary for that episode that I would have liked a shot down into that yard with like people laid out, but I understand why they didn't do it because it's just a one shot and it's expensive to set that sort of stuff up and make it look right. So, and it's the same with the interior shot here. Next is the Still Valley, which got made into a movie, I think. There are a few episodes that do get made into movies, often by other names. But we'll talk about that next week, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care now. Bye.